After 10 days of bad weather, the skies are finally clearing up, and hopefully tonight I can do some imaging, and I will uncover this beautiful telescope from all the covers that I use against the weather, and I will show you each layer what it does. And I kind of got a little bit of damage on the bottom side because of the powerful wind and rain, but no matter, we'll change that later on. Stay tuned for another video at Astrophoto Bobcat. So as you can see, the telescope is anchored over here because I had a bad experience. Last year the telescope was flipped over, not this one, and I got some damage. So since then I learned my lesson. So everything is anchored over here, and in this side, and everything is tied up very nicely together so the telescope doesn't move. It can sustain up to 50 miles an hour of winds. It's not a fun experience, but I've seen it, so it's been handling it good. And now we're gonna uncover it, and I'll show you the layers underneath. You need to have a little bit of more covers for the camera, for the computer inside, so the humidity doesn't go all the way through the equipment. So the way I start to unwrap the telescope usually is from the top down. I do have a lot of safety measures, so to speak. So everything is kept tight, the wind doesn't go inside and inflates this whole thing, so that's how the telescope can flip over. And around, have over here these two ropes. This one keeps it tight underneath over here. It doesn't have a clip that's stuck over there. This one goes like that. Take it out. Keep everything together because we need this for the next time when we cover it up. So what you do, you take it from here, slowly unwrap it like this. What I can see over here, I have a little bit of water in the bottom. I think I have a leak somewhere over here, so I need, as you can see over here, is dripping water. It's been raining a lot, so but everything else seems to be dry, so just the water probably goes down over here in between the, you know, the first layer and the inside layer. But that needs to be changed, definitely. You don't wanna, have to be very careful when you take this out. You don't want to touch any of the equipment, the camera or the focuser or the filter wheel. And slowly sliding this out. This is it. Alright, so over here, as you can see, everything is wrapped very tight. This is the camera. I'm gonna unwrap this. I'm using these covers from my motorcycle helmets. I found like a second use for it, right? And this is very good because again keeps the humidity, so it's the material inside and keeps the humidity away. As you can see, this is very dry, even though it's been raining like for a week. This area, everything seems nice and dry. That's what you want to have it. I also use sometimes humidity absorbent bags. I didn't use it this time because I don't have them. But this is looking good so far. Same thing over here in this area where is the computer, where is the Eagle unit. Everything is tight. You always want to check to see if water got inside, and thank God it didn't, which is good. That's what we want. And we're gonna wrap this very nice and slow without breaking the antennas of the unit. And of course in the front you want to make sure the front of the telescope is protected, because when it's raining, this is the first, that's where you get a lot of water, right in the top. But this is nice and dry, same as this area and this area, so everything looks good. All right, so next step is to take this off. Now it's very important to remember which one you put on first and last, because it happened that I took one out, and this one, because it's elastic, it can smack your hands. You don't want that. So I remember that I usually do 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna start over here. You wanna hold on to this. As I said, it's an elastic, and with the plastic over here that can hurt your hands. It did happen to me. And you just go slowly like that. Take that out. Go to the second one. And the last one. Okay. And now, when I started the video, I was saying that this got ripped off by the wind. It's an interesting idea that the wind goes through this one, which I find it to be okay, because it doesn't go underneath to pull the telescope up. And I might hold on to this and not change it, because if it's a full material and it has no, the wind can go through, and that might create an issue on the high winds when you have like 25 miles per hour and stuff like that. But anyway, I take this out, and there we have the telescope. Okay, so very important aspect is to check the wires after you take the covers off. So you want to make sure that the mount, the auto guide, it's not out. You know, sometimes they snap out, they come out, and then when you start the whole equipment, you realize that it's not connected. And what I do, I go around from the electric cables, right? Make sure everything is tight. Over here on the antenna, I want to make sure the cameras are connected, the mount is connected, right? You have to check to see if everything is nice and tight. You don't want to have a nasty surprise when you try to fire up the rig. Everything over here looks good, and then we're gonna plug it in and see if it works. Now the same thing over here, you want to make sure that everything is nice and tight. There we go. That beep you heard, that's the Eagle. On the Eagle unit, you need to push this button, and then we take over with the remote control. What I want want to show you here is also how the wires are set up. So you need to be very good with cable management. This telescope can be controlled remotely, which I did previously, actually from work, which is very cool. But you want to make sure that you don't have too many cables dangling around. As you can see, I have only one cable that is very flexible and it's very loose, and you cannot really get caught up in anything. And it did happen to me that I snap a lot of cables. I almost destroyed my camera because of it, so you have to be very careful with this. Everything else is tight over here. Everything is tight over here, as you can see, so you have only one cable hanging. And if you want to be able to use the remote feature on this team viewer or whatever you can use, and access the telescope when you are not there, you again have to make sure that this is done properly. All right, so now we are ready to actually start the imaging session. I'm back in the house, and I am actually controlling my laptop that controls the Eagle, the telescope's computer, through TeamViewer. So I'm just trying to show you the remote capabilities and what is actually possible to do. As I was mentioning before, it's it's an amazing thing to have, as long as you watch for the weather and the weather is is cooperating. It's a good thing to be able to control the telescope from the distance through computers. And as I said, the Eagle is connected via Wi-Fi to the laptop, and then the laptop is connected to my main computer through TeamViewer right here, and you can see it, and it's a wonderful thing. And I've been using it a lot, but as I said, you have to be very careful with the weather. You don't want to have a surprise and have the equipment on and rain or snow or anything like that, and then can damage the whole thing. So with that in mind, right now you can see the Eagle. I have connected the camera over here on the Eagle. So from the Eagle I have the electric power goes to the camera. I have that go, the second one goes to the cover, to the Alto. See right here, this cover. The other piece of equipment that is also connected is usually the mount, but I found a way to actually connect the mount separately. I do have it on the telescope, and I do have the plug on the roof, and the mount and the computer are connected separately. And if you remember, I was mentioning the fact that it's very important to have a very good cable management, because if you use it remotely or you're not paying attention for 1 minute, sometimes you can get the cables damaged, you can get the connections on the camera, on the mount, God forbid, and that would cost you a lot of money. Alright, so let's start the session. I've been imaging a little bit now. Earlier it was cloudy, but I've been imaging a bit on the Flaming Star Nebula, and right now I've parked the telescope on the PhD 2 guiding. You can see over here the Polaris, right? And what I'm going to use, and what I'm usually using right now, is the SkyX, and this has been a game changer for me as well. This is the software that Paramount is using for their mount, and I did purchase a Paramount MIT. I will have a video with that soon, and I needed this software, and this software works well with other mounts, as you can imagine, and I've been using it for my Skywatcher EQ6 that I showed you earlier. And the telescope is connected, it is parked, the camera is connected focuser is connected, filter wheel connected, and I'm shooting in HA. And the auto guider, I haven't been using this one yet. I still use the PhD, and I find it to be very, very good. And what we will do right now, first of all, we need to unpark the mount, and you go right here, and everything is done remotely. Right now I don't have access to the telescope, so that's why I'm repeating, and I'm sorry to repeat myself, but it's again very important to have a very good cable management, because if you're not close to the telescope, you cannot watch and you can get a lot of damage if you don't pay attention, if the cables are not very nicely tight. The only loose cable that I showed you earlier is the one from the Eagle unit that is loose, and it does have room. Alright, so first of all, you have to find the target, and I'm doing IC405, which is Flaming Star Nebula. And you do have few options over here. You have the option to slew, and you have the option to close loop slew, which I can't emphasize enough how amazing this tool is. And I did use SGP before, and I did have trouble plate solving. So this is basically plate solving for you. When you do an initial setup with the SkyX, you are picking 35 stars. Give an example. The telescope goes, marks them down, as you can see it right here in the bottom on the ASCOM mount, and then the telescope knows at all time where it's located. And if you do give him an object to find, it will find it. If you do close loop slew, it will center it for you automatically, and I will demonstrate this now. And we will go ahead. So you see the telescope is moving to the target. You can also see it over here on the PhD2 guiding that the stars are moving. It's a whole crazy thing and I'm always stressing out a lot when this happens, because again, you never know how things can go bad. Hopefully doesn't happen, but it's not a lot of fun if it does. So what the telescope does right now, going back to SkyX, you see it's framing the Flaming Star Nebula, and it's right here in the center. It's still gonna move it a little bit until it gets it exactly in the center, and then basically what you can do, you can focus. I already focus and I will show you in a later video. I'm gonna have a very much a specific tutorial dedicated just for SkyX. I am not able to do that right now because I'm still finding out a lot of things about this program, this software. But it's an unbelievable software and can definitely use it. It's a little bit on the expensive side, but as I many times said before, this is an expensive hobby. You're gonna end up paying some money one way or another, but if you do pay money, you should always get quality things. So right now we are center on IC405, and we will go to camera and we will go to Tech Series, and right now I have it set up for 180, which is 3 minutes, binning 1 by 1, light frames. 200, that's a little bit much, I would say. And we will choose the HA. It's a little bit much because probably the telescope in the morning won't stop. It will keep getting pictures. It's not connected with the auto guider, so it will not stop by itself. I need to fix that. But it doesn't matter. It's better to be, to take advantage of the whole night. So, but a little bit of calculation can, you can more or less be on the right spot if you do calculate and you see exactly how long it will take. So this is 3 minutes by 200. I'm not gonna go into actually calculating that right now, but You know what I mean. Once you do this, what you can do is starting the PhD 2, so you can already start guiding. It's an interesting situation. When you do a meridian flip, usually you might wanna recalibrate. I've been very happy with the results lately without recalibrating. Sometimes I do need to do that, sometimes I don't. As you can see right now, it's doing very well. You just have to wait a couple of minutes just to be sure that the guiding is okay. But I do trust my my guiding at this point. I seem to have a little bit of an RA oscillation over here, and that's probably because the wind. It's, of course, you never get rid of the wind, and that's like a big spike over there, and that's definitely the wind. When the RA is affected that much, you know it's the wind. The deck usually, of course, is affected as well, but RA usually is the one that is more stable. So, but this seems to be all right. It's not a bad weather tonight. It's not a bad wind. I think it's up to 10 miles an hour. That's manageable. And then we'll start taking the serious. And you will see right here the exposure delay, and now you see the exposing light. I need to double check something over here. I always make a little bit of error. So the filter was set up for solve, even though I thought I had it for HA, which is not good, because that means I will have to throw away a lot of images. And yes, it is in HA, and I'm not sure how good of a focus I got on this. Okay, well, I'll check later and see if I can actually use this data. So in other words, when I did focus, I focused on HA, and when I start the session, I started in solve. So maybe the focus is not as sharp, because once you focus in HA, solve, it's a little bit of a different focus. But I'll still try to use this data. Let me open up over here. See how this looks when it comes to the stars. Actually, they don't look bad though. A little bit fat maybe, but you know, not as bad all in all. All right, well, that sounds like I might be able to use this data. But yeah, that's basically my routine. Keep in mind that this is done remotely. I think that's a fascinating thing from my point of view. I'm very happy about it. My plans in the future would be to have an observatory somewhere where the skies are not light polluted, are very clear from the atmospheric turbulence and so on and so forth. Of course, that's like a dream of mine, and have a telescope over there running remotely. But that's, as I said, it's like a dream. But so far, so good. I'm very happy with the way things have been going lately. You always going to have the challenges of the weather. You're gonna always have technical challenges, and you definitely can overcome those. You have to be patient. You have to do research online. You have to make sure that you double check every time that the equipment is in good shape. I've been neglecting a little bit mine, because I knew, for example, that the cover for the telescope does get water in between the front and the back. So I should never allow that, because you do have a lot of expensive equipment over there and should always protect it. And I do have a new cover, and I will use that definitely. And every time something like that happens, something gets damaged, you can always replace it. As you can see, this is the first exposure. The stars are a little bit crooked, which tells me that, yeah, the guiding is going a little bit crazy. So I will probably need to recalibrate. But this is it for the video today. I just wanted to, get back to action after the holidays in the new year. I wish you everyone happy new year and a lot of success in whatever you do, and of course in astrophotography if you are involved in this amazing hobby. A lot of success, clear skies, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much, and I will leave you now with my latest image, the Sigul Nebula. Have a good one. Thank you.